Good afternoon and welcome to sunny Northamptonshire. Just a quick little note, the reason why we're here is we're looking for a residential course location for one of the workshops that I'm running. You can hear the sheep bleating, you can hear the birds tweeting. What better place can you think of coming to do 2 days fashion photo shoot in this location over there? Anyway, this is a 3-minute Thursday, and the reason why I'm talking to you now is to try and get into the flow of giving you a little bit more information. So what am I talking about today? So today I'm thinking of talking to you about chimping. What is chimping? So chimping is when you see photographers doing this on the back of the camera. So why do we do that? Well, why do I do it? So in the olden days, or the older days, we used to use Polaroid, and this Polaroid is no longer around because Fuji bought it and they basically turned it into a consumer product, whereas it used to be a piece of fine art processing that we used to use. So we used to use Polaroid to test the location, test the lighting and test what was going on, but now we don't. So what do we use? Well, we all use the back of the camera and LED, and even sometimes I don't even use a light reader. I just go F11125. So I thought it'd be quite interesting just to tell you a few little tips and tricks that I use. So if you are going to use the LED on the back of the screen, make sure that you know your process. So it's all right taking a picture and trusting the back of the camera, but you know, or you should know by now, that that LED is not accurate to the finished product. And so if you're working for a client, you need to know the process. So my process is, I know that if I'm okay on the screen, then I'm probably going to be a little bit underexposed on the computer. If it's overexposed on here, then you're probably blown out the highlights. So what you need to do is look at your histograms, and I don't even look at the histograms, I just look at the density and the dynamic range in the back of the LED. I understand now the same process that I used to use in Polaroid. I can take that process straight into Lightroom or Photoshop. So the secret of using, as you probably know, DSLRs now is don't overexpose. Okay, you're not using a red camera, you've got a great dynamic range, and all these cameras do have a superb dynamic range, but try not to overexpose on the LED, because once those highlights are blown out, they're blown out for good. So what do? I don't use histogram. I always take a reading, look at it, and work out whether I can see the detail in the sky. For example, I'll be looking for the detail in the sky. If it's underexposed, hello, if it's underexposed in the foreground down here, then that's fine, you can bring that up, beautiful. But if your exposure is over on your highlights, then you're struggling and you're going to burn it out if you're not too careful. So just keep an eye, work out your process, take your pictures from the back of the camera, through Lightroom into Photoshop, and you should have a good, simple working process where you understand the back of the camera. We have no Polaroid, so you have to base your knowledge on what's going on here and in your mind as to what's happening on the computer. If you don't do your own processing and post-production like I do, then you need to make sure that your retouch or post-producer knows your workflow, send some samples, get an idea of what's going on, and then you'll be fine. 3-minute Thursdays. 3-minute Thursdays are what we're doing here. The idea is to give you some knowledge and impart some information from my knowledge through to you. So I'm going to try and do that at least once or twice a week. Let's stick to once, and if I get to twice. But just to be notified, subscribe, or if you can, ring the bell and get notification as and when one of my videos comes out. We have got a whole range of other style of videos that we're going to try and do in the post-production, actually in the field, behind the scenes. I'll be shooting fashion models, editorial, and the biggest thing that I'm going to be doing over this next period is going from photography and directing of photography, going through into motion. So there's a transition at the moment. I'm going through into the director of motion. So watch out for the hashtag James Nader photo. Follow that and see what's coming out. So thanks for looking at this, guys, and I'll catch you later.